go. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1490 of Toronto Mic'd, proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. The Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team, the best baseball in the city outside the Dome. Join me at Christie Pitts June 2nd, and Rod Black should have his mustache in full effect. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. The Advantaged Investor Podcast from Raymond James Canada. Valuable perspective for Canadian investors who want to remain knowledgeable, informed, and focused on long-term success. Season 6 of Yes, We Are Open, an award-winning Moneris podcast hosted by FOTM El Grego. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today, making his Toronto Mike debut is Gene Champagne. Welcome, Gene.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm sorry about the shit show that is the QEW. You drove all the way to South Etobicoke from the Hammer. Is that right?
I did, but it was opened up on this end for whatever reason. The Hammer was just locked down.
Okay, it just sounds like a nightmare to me. Like,
is.
I just feel terrible. So I just want you to know you won't be going home empty-handed. So we're going to have a good convo, and you'll take home a large meat lasagna from Palma Pasta, okay? So it'll be worth the drive.
That's awesome.
More than that, I feel like Monty Hall here. Okay, I got some fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery.
Oh, beautiful. Look at this. My wife's going to make me come back here.
You're going to move in with me. She's going to be like, just bring me back the little... You know who's a huge fan of the Palma Pasta lasagna? Tom Wilson.
Oh, boy. Tommy.
What's your relationship like with Tom? He's the mayor of Hamilton, right?
Kind of, sort of. Tom and I go way back, believe it or not. I first met Tom when I was probably 11 years old. In one of my first bands, we played a festival in Stony Creek. I was 11 and just starting out on drums. And there was a young teenage Tom Wilson on the stage with Jason Avery. I think they were doing an acoustic thing. And that's how I first met Tom.
Was he with the Florida Razors at that point?
No, I think it was pre-Razors.
Pre-Razors?
Yeah, he was just a young
He was just
teen.
doing like folk music, like in coffee houses and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
All right. I was, when we were talking about you coming over, I asked if you were at that media premiere or whatever, the premiere of the Beautiful Scars musical, and you weren't there.
No, Dave Rave asked me to go with him to join him that night.
Yeah, I saw him there.
Yeah, and I just wasn't able to go. I said I had to pass on that one, I'm afraid.
I'm not 100% sure Dave Rave recognized me, to be honest. Like, we'd spent like 90 minutes doing...
Well, did he have his glasses on? That makes all the difference, right?
Because I went up, I go, Dave, good to see you again. And he kind of looked at me and he kind of was polite, but I could say, oh, he doesn't remember that we spent a quality, 90 minutes face to face just like a couple of weeks ago.
You should have held him. You should have held him tightly for a while.
All right, we're gonna have a lot of. We're gonna talk about Teenage Head, and of course, again, I'm gonna try not to dwell on it for like an entire 90 minutes. But I have Killjoys questions. I'm a big Killjoys fan. I got music. You heard the cold open, and we're gonna talk about your new stuff too. Unteens. We're gonna cover a lot of ground.
There's a lot of ground to cover.
A lot of ground to cover, so I hope you've got
But you know
time.
what? I don't want, you gifted me when I sat down. I don't want you to go empty-handed
Oh, wait,
either.
I'm getting something?
You're getting something too.
What do I
So
get?
I'm giving you a pair of Teenage Head Gene Champagne sticks, bright pink to go with all your paraphernalia over there.
It's going to have a special spot in the TMDS studio here, and then when people point out, I'm going to say Gene Champagne gave me that drummer for Teenage Head.
I don't want you to forget me when the door hits mass on the way out.
I would never forget you. I'm not going to forget you the way Dave Rave forgot me, okay?
It's a thing. I'll fix him.
So
it's his birthday today, by the way.
Is it?
Yes. Happy birthday, Dave.
Well,
He's actually in
Now I
England.
feel bad for putting him down. Dave Rave, all is forgiven, okay? I'm not a memorable guy. We'll see if Gene Champagne can remember me after this conversation. I did get a note from someone named Scooter Dobson, and he just said, Gene's a good guy. So I feel like, I don't know Scooter Dobson, but like if a name like Scooter, if he's saying you're a good guy, I think you must be a good guy.
Scooter must be a hell of a guy.
Scooter's a great name, right? Like it reminds me of like
It
Dukes
is.
of Hazzard or something.
It is.
Shout out to Scooter Dobson. And just, no, you know what? I'm going to hold on to this Elephants and Stars question because I'm going to open with, I'm skipping ahead to a note I got. So we are going to cover a lot of music. We're going to play music, and I'm going to ask you so much questions about Teenage Head, Killjoys, so many unteens, you know. We're going to talk about like all this ground we're going to cover. But we're opening with something. This is Pete Fowler from the Lost Indie City. I love the Lost Indie City. I'm wearing a Lost Indie City t-shirt.
Look at that.
On. Yeah, just for this Pete Fowler here. Obvious question, he says. So he wants me to ask you about something I'm very interested in. How close to death were you? Can you talk about your battle with COVID-19?
I can.
Okay, bury me in the details. I need to know if I'm in the presence of a ghost here, and I'm just grateful I'm not shouting out Ridley Funeral Home.
Me too. Where do you want to begin?
Well, tell me, like you got it, and what? Give me the story.
Well, this was all pre-vaccine when I contracted it, and I was at home, and all of a sudden I got sick fast. Very fluey, very achy. Not the typical thing you think where, okay, I'm sneezing and I'm coughing. It wasn't like that. It was just more nausea, flu-like symptoms. And I thought, well, you know what? We're in the heat of this. We're going to go get tested. Went and got tested properly. Yeah. Negative. Okay, so I went back home. We're going to ride it out. It's just a flu.
Right.
I kept getting worse and worse. To the point where
what do you mean? You just felt like, how did you feel? Just like a bag of shit?
Like a bag of shit. Like I had no energy. Like I was starting to get super dehydrated. Like a bad flu.
Real bad flu.
Really bad flu. And then it just got worse and worse and worse to where I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't move. Not to be graphic, but everything coming out both ends like a flu.
That's never good.
No. And, it got to the point where I could not move, and my wife decided. She said, "I've got to get to the hospital because if I can't move you now, and we got to move now."
Okay, and this is Julie.
This is Julie, my wife, Julie, and so we ended up going. But it took me literally 4 hours to get out of the house. That's how I couldn't move.
Wow,
it took me 4 hours, and she took me to Joseph Brant in Burlington, and we went in, and they, you know, as precautions, they treated it as COVID right away. They put me in emergency. She wasn't allowed in, so I was there by myself.
Right.
In this awful room, sitting there. They gave me some oxygen. They put an IV in me because I was really, really dehydrated. And I was there probably for 8 hours. At one point, I was sleeping on the cement floor with a coat on me. Finally, the x-ray came. They took the x-ray. Mm-hmm. He disappeared again for hours, and I was still on the floor. And finally, they came and saw me, and they said, "You know what? We're going to admit you. Your chest is full, and we are going to treat this as COVID because we believe this is COVID, even though it came up negative." So away I go. They finally got me a room somewhere back in emergency. Now I'm getting more delirious as this is going on, and it starts getting really foggy at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to recollect.
No, it's okay. At this point, you're probably relying on like Julie's take on all this, right? Because you're out of it, right? You must be.
Well, there's more about that
mind
on the recovery end. She had to fill in a lot of gaps for me that just completely went missing.
But were you on a ventilator at any time?
Well, it got to that, yes.
Wow.
So going back to, they put me in another room, back in the emergency. Then I ended up on a floor, and I kept declining. They'd keep upping my oxygen and declining. And then I heard the words I was afraid of most: "We have to intubate you."
Wow.
And I recall it, but it was very foggy. Pre even any of my hospitalization, I used to watch the news, obviously, because it was so big in Europe and China, and we were seeing news about people on ventilators and just death everywhere. And
that was. I remember thinking, if you can avoid the ventilator, you might be okay. But once you go on the ventilator, I don't know, 50-50 or something, it just seemed really scary to be on the ventilator.
It's worse. And I didn't realize this until I recovered. It's 30% survival rate.
Wow. And you're, just so we have a little context here, you're like, what, you're like 52 years old when you get COVID, right? When you have this experience.
Yes.
So, okay. So That's a young man, and you don't have any underlying.
No,
you're a healthy 52.
Yep.
Oh, crap,
I don't.
man. That's scary.
I don't smoke. I drink occasionally, and
social drinking is not
yeah.
going to
Yeah.
kill you. Okay.
And the reason I made it is because they said I had a really strong heart. But yeah, you know.
So you did make it. Okay. Spoiler alert.
I am here.
You didn't pass.
No, you didn't walk through me. I'm here. Here, I'll move this box. Can you see it moving on its own?
But gee, I see dead people. We almost lost you though.
Yeah, you did. And the sad part about that is I have a friend that was in the hospital just about a week before me with COVID. And when I woke up, I learned that he didn't make it.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Okay, listen, I'm so firstly, right off the top is, wow, 30%, you made it. Your heart was strong. That's good news. And you're still with us. What was the recovery time like? Was the recovery a long process? Like, are you still, like, how do you feel now?
I feel probably better than before COVID, believe it or not.
Okay, we should all get COVID, you're telling me.
Well, it's just, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, I've had friends that have COVID that had like not near as long or hard as me.
No ventilator for them.
No ventilator. And they are still having long COVID symptoms.
Wow.
Yeah. And I feel great.
So you feel like 100% now?
Yeah.
Did you consider biking from Hamilton? Okay, how good you? Don't take that QEW.
No.
But okay, so this made the papers, of course. I remember reading about your battle with COVID in the newspapers.
Well, that kind of freaked me out too, because when I finally was up and able to sit up and whatnot, my wife was able to come to the hospital. Now she couldn't come in because I didn't have any visitors. It was very, very lonely for a month in there, and I didn't see faces. All I saw were eyes and masks. Honestly, it was scary. Yeah. But she came and she said there was one time where she could come in the room. She was masked up, like triple masked.
Sure.
Had to stay away from me. She says, "There's something I have to tell you." And she says, "You're all over the news." And I'm groggy and, I'm not with it. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Well, I just want you to know, because if you get out, people are going to start talking to you about this."
Yeah, people are going to be thinking they're seeing a ghost.
So she did. She showed me everything on her phone. And I'm like, "Oh boy." But I could see strange things when I was in the ICU. People would walk by and stare at me a lot.
Well, listen, Gene, you're a founding member of the Killjoys. Of course, it's going to be huge news if you are in the hospital on a ventilator. Like, that's going to be massive news, okay?
Well, the funny thing about that is before I contracted it, we always talked about, it was something that you heard, well, my uncle's second cousin had it. It was no one in our circles, never mind our music community.
It was just Tom Hanks, right?
It was Tom Hanks, yeah.
You and Tom Hanks are two most precious resources.
Oh, sorry.
Bang the table. You're alive, man. That's
the ghost.
Every time you hit the table and you feel the pain, you're like, I'm alive to feel that pain.
Oh, live every moment.
So basically you come out of this thing, you recover, you're 100% now, but do people I notice there's conflation with news and things when people are like on death's doors. Sometimes people don't seem to realize you may have survived. Like, are people like, oh, I thought he was dead? Like Gene Champagne, I thought he died. Didn't he die of COVID?
I don't get that. Only you. Thanks. Thanks.
Well, you know what? I didn't think you died because I was expecting you at 7 p.m. tonight here in South Etobicoke. So I would be like, I don't think I see dead people. But so congrats on surviving COVID.
Thank you.
Man, I guess that was scary for your loved ones. But the Hamilton community, there's been some high profile deaths. There's a member of Teenage Head died fairly recently. Like, I feel like the community would be rallying in support of Gene Champagne. Like, you got to make it, buddy. That's a tight community, right? That Hamilton music community.
Well, the crazy thing is it went beyond Hamilton. It went, nationwide. I had people from the smallest bands to the biggest bands reach out to me. There was it was really mind-blowing, actually.
Well, does it make you feel loved?
It does.
Maybe this is what everybody should do. Like, you need to get close to death to be, for people not to take you for granted. Like, is that a good idea, maybe? Maybe I should try.
It's a good way to sell records.
I was going to ask you, like, this is free press. Like, so good PR, what do you call that? Earned press. Like, you didn't have to pay for these placements in our newspapers. Everybody kind of, even people who are like, oh, I don't know the name Gene Champagne. That's a cool name. Oh, he's the drummer for Teenage Head. Like, it's good awareness for you.
What an awful way to get there. It's kind of like
I'm
selling
looking
your
for,
soul, isn't it?
I am looking for bright side to everything. But okay, so you made it, and now you're 100%. This is good news. And you're making new music.
I am, and I'm excited about it.
All right, so there's so many places I got to go. I've been warned by a couple of people not to spend all my time on the Killjoys. I have a bad habit, okay? Sometimes I think it was I know it was pointed out by Gino Vanelli. Like, he said to me, can we get off Black Cars already? Because I was hyper-focused on Black Cars, because Black Cars was the song that kind of brought me into the Gino universe when I'd hear it on CFTR, like in the mid-'80s, and I couldn't get off it. And I'm going to be very careful not to spend all my time on the Killjoys, but maybe I'm going to read the note from Elephants and Stars right now. Do you know the band Elephants and Stars?
I do.
Manfred is the FOTM, the lead of that band. He wrote in, and don't forget, because I just said, I mentioned the Killjoys, and I mentioned Teenage Head, and he said, and don't forget the Unteens. Why didn't Elephants and Stars open for the Unteens in Hamilton at Bridgeworks?
Why didn't they?
Well, you tell me.
Who did open? I'm trying to remember who opened at that show.
Maybe I should play a little. Okay, so we're going to go out of order. So this will prevent me from spending all my time on the Killjoys here. We want to listen to a little music here?
Sure.
Okay.
Did she lose her mind? But didn't see it coming, I was blind. This thing called love is so kind. I just wanna go home. I took some drugs, it ain't my thing, but I was going nuts. There's nothing for the both of us. I just wanna go home. I'm coming over 'cause I need you around. But got quiet that she made this and she said, I think we should become unfriends. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should. I just wanna go where have you been? Getting matches.
What are we listening to, Gene?
Become Unfriends. Unteens.
Tell me about Unteens.
Unteens, Unteens is a band that I put together just to kind of keep playing some rock and roll, really. Before I did my new record, Let's Jet, that was sort of what I was going to do, and then those people, the guys that I play with now, the Unteens, heard that and they wanted to re-record some of this stuff, and we became a live band, being the Unteens.
Okay, so this is your active side project, I suppose, when you're not releasing solo material?
So I was doing that between Killjoys and Teenage Head. It was my own outlet, where I get to step out from behind the drums and actually write and create and sing and play.
I'm digging it.
Thank you.
Sounds great. A little more, and then I got a question from Hamilton Mike that's going to lead to another band.
I think we should become unfriends. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should. I just wanna go. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should become unfriends. I think we should. I think we should. I think we should. I just wanna go home.
Yeah, yes, guy. Okay, Hamilton Mike knows me all too well. He writes, when he heard you were coming on, Gene, he said, nice! Make sure to really push on his solo/Unteens music, not just Killjoys nostalgia. See, I warned you. I got lots of notes. Like, they just think I'm going to just only talk about Killjoys. My reputation precedes me. But Hamilton Mike goes on. Go ahead.
I have to digress because I was racking my brain while the song was going. It was Luke Bentham from the Dirty Nil that opened for us up at Bridgeworks.
That's better than Elephants and Stars, right?
Well, no, we didn't choose the opener, actually.
All right.
So
how come sometimes sometimes the venue picks the opener, sometimes the band?
Yeah, the promoter sometimes puts that all together, and
okay,
is what it is.
It is what it is. Okay. Hamilton Mike says Gene's music is so great. Please ask about his overlooked power pop band Junior Achiever. Their one album is all killer, no filler. Gene, may I play a little Junior Achiever here?
Sure.
All right, you told me there'd be some music here.
I'm a cheater, I'm a loser. I feel like a fallen user in a world so full of pain. I can sink myself into.
I'm ashamed to hear my name next to yours. I'm ashamed to hear my name. You've got the big house, driving your fancy car, living on a quiet street. Who do you think you are? Remove yourself from social disease. Way out in the suburbs, don't you trade in that smile with a heart that hasn't been around here in a while. You got lost way out in the crowd. Yeah, it takes a little time to try to figure it out. I'm ashamed to hear my name next to yours. I'm ashamed to hear my name. You've got the big house, driving your fancy car, living on a quiet street. Who do you think you are? Remove yourself from social disease. Way out in the suburbs. You gotta find out where you've been. Are you happy in the place that you're living in? Or did you move away to lose all your friends? Way out in the suburbs.
So I'm admiring my new drumsticks over here, but this is some power pop, Gene. So who's Junior Achiever? How many side projects do you have? What's going on here?
Oh, probably too many. So the Junior Achiever came about when the Killjoys took our first hiatus way back in the end of the 90s. So this is an early 2000s band where I just started. I seriously needed an outlet at that point. So I wrote some songs and they kind of had their own legs. All the songs, that song there was featured on a huge scene in Degrassi, and it kind of really opened things up.
The Next Generation?
The Next Generation with
Okay.
Drake. This was a Drake scene. And
Was he in a wheelchair yet or before wheelchair?
No, I think it was wheelchair scene. I think it was the wheelchair days.
Wow. Okay, Jimmy. That was his character, Jimmy.
And then, so what happened is a lot of our music got put onto Degrassi, which ended up kind of funding the record. And even though we didn't do much here, we toured Japan with it. So it was interesting.
I heard you're big in Japan.
Everyone's big in Japan.
So my most recent guest is Rob Salem, who for like decades wrote about entertainment for the Toronto Star. Rob Salem also did a little acting on the side. He played the minister that married Snake and Spike on Degrassi: The Next Generation. You're the second guest in a row with a direct connect to Degrassi: The Next Generation.
Are you going to sleep tonight? I don't know.
I just want to know, can you text Drake? Like, will Drake answer your text?
Probably not. I don't think no, I don't think so.
No, you gotta
I'm
be
certainly
careful.
not going over there. You get shot.
Yeah, I hear there's bad stuff going down
there's some
there.
ruckus.
You got to be careful with this stuff. But that's a fun fact. Okay, so Junior Achiever, that's after, okay, you said
After
early
the Killjoys.
2000s?
Yeah,
Okay.
early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay, let me get back to my letters here. We got... All right, that was Hamilton Mike, by the way. And Hamilton Mike, I'm talking to you specifically here. I know you'd also have to deal with that shit show that is the QEW to make your way to South Etobicoke. But I hope I see you on June 27th, because that is TMLX 15. That's 6 to 9 p.m. at the Great Lakes Brewery South Etobicoke location, 30 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard. Just show up. Gene, you're invited too, man. Palma Pasta will feed you. Great Lakes will buy you your first beer. And we just hang. It's amazing. It's
All
going to
this
be a great
pasta. So much pasta.
Listen, we got to feed the people,
You
right?
do.
Got to feed the people. Quick, more gifts. There's a wireless speaker right there. So that card there has a QR code where you can subscribe to Yes, We Are Open. Season 6 is dropping now. Not too far from you. Al Grego went to Niagara Falls and he visited with Andrew Vergalito, who owns Italian Ice Cream. It's a business that his parents started 47 years ago. And Al and Andrew, they talk all about it over some delicious espresso and gelato. So you can hear that story and many other inspiring stories with small business owners on Yes, We Are Open. So you got your marching orders.
This is like going to the Emmys and getting those gift baskets.
Have you ever been to the Emmys? Maybe that
No.
your music being in Degrassi: The Next Generation gets you an invite to the Emmys.
My ringer might have been off. I don't know. I didn't get that call.
Maybe the Canadian Screen Awards. I don't think they give you, I think they charge you money to go to the Canadian Screen Awards. I don't think they give you anything. I'm not even done yet, man. while you're subscribing to podcasts, you, Gene, are going to subscribe to the Advantage
Gene or
Investor.
Eugene?
Eugene's
Hey,
on your birth
my
certificate,
neighbor
right?
kept calling me Eugene.
But what's on your birth certificate?
It's just Gene.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, my neighbor kept calling me Eugene, but I kind of let it go because
Well,
she was
most
good
Genes
looking. So
are-
I just thought, you know what? Oh, I'm not going to mess with that.
But most genes are Eugenes, right?
Are they?
I think so. I'm surprised you're not a Eugene. I almost called you that. Now, I'm pretty sure Mean Gene Okerlund was a Eugene. Were you a big Mean Gene Okerlund fan?
Not really.
Do you know who I'm talking
I know
about?
who you're talking about, but no.
No, I thought maybe you gravitated towards all the Gene. Well, you know what? Some genes are Genos, like Gino Vanelli.
Only the good genes are just genes. Gene Krupa.
Any more?
Let's go
going.
with Gene Simmons. Is he good, though? I don't know. Gene Simmons.
He's a good marketer, right? He'll put his logo on anything, right?
Gene Kelly.
Is he just a Gene? Or is he Eugene Kelly?
I don't know.
And by the way, Gene Champagne does sound to me like a fake name. Like, is that a...
I get that all the time.
'cause
Like
it
a
sounds-
really crappy lounge singer.
Well, would you produce a birth certificate for me and maybe dispel the rumor
I
that
will
I'm
do that.
starting?
I w-
I trust.
I will do that.
I trust
I want people
you.
to hear this. That's my wallet.
I'm going to... Everybody listen, this is a big moment in Toronto Mike. Is Gene Champagne really a champagne?
Let's have a look.
Okay, now, I'm going to have to hold it far away. Don't
Hold
make
it.
fun of like my kids
You might
do.
have to-
Okay, but... If you legally changed your name, you would get a health card with a new name, right? I might need like the birth certificate issued when you were born. Where were you born? Hamilton? Where were you born?
Hamilton.
Okay, so did they give you a birth certificate at birth? Produce that. I'm like the birther theory here. I trust you. You're a champagne.
Yes, I'm a
but it is a
champagne.
convenient last name for like a rock star, I think, right?
It's interesting. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little too convenient, but we'll discuss this offline when you produce the birth
It's
certificate.
better than Mike. I mean, your first name's Toronto Mike, isn't it? Toronto Mike?
My first name's Toronto. My last name is Mike. Okay, I'll
course.
produce my birth certificate when you produce yours,
Okay.
actually. So, let me see. I've taken care of you, but I actually want to give you a measuring tape from Ridley Funeral Home, which I'm glad you didn't show up there. Do you know what, though?
Is this to measure your own casket? I don't understand.
You can get a kiss casket, right? That's what Gene Simmons.
Well,
he has the
yeah.
kiss casket.
Well, you always need one of these.
Well, here, let me tie it to the hammer. Brad Jones, who's the owner of Ridley Funeral Home, he's from Hamilton. See, it's all about the hammer here today.
Thank you,
Hamilton
Brad.
Mike. So you got your, so shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. One last gift here, and then we're going to get back to the music. There's a book, and it's under all your stuff, but that book is The History of Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball. And I can tell you, funny, Stephen Brunt was just at Christie Pitts with me on Sunday, and he had to drive from Hamilton, and he was cursing me out for making him drive to Christie Pitts from Hamilton. But and I saw Brunt actually at that Beautiful Scars premiere. Now, all my Hamilton friends were there. But I would just like the listenership to know that I'm going to be recording live from Christie Pitts on June 2nd, and come on out, hang with me. And even if I'm not there, it's free baseball, delicious beer, good food, good times. It's a great vibe. So come on out to Christie Pitts and catch some Maple Leafs baseball this summer. Got it, Gene?
I vote for that.
Gene approves. Okay.
Gene approved.
All right. Do you want to talk a little bit about the new album, and then we'll go back, and then we'll, if you don't mind, we'll do a deeper dive into the Killjoys. I did load a new song. You ready for this one?
Sure.
All right, let's jet, man.
We've been hanging around here way too long. But there's a girl dancing to my favorite song. I wanna ask her to go for a ride. My knees are shaking, feel like I'm gonna die. I'm walking over, I'm really on my way. Let's jet. Baby, let's jet. Get ready, get set. Baby, let's jet. I'll shake my nerves.
Let's jet, Gene.
That's Jet.
Not you, Gene, but Gene. I've been educated. Okay, tell me about the new album. Give me the details. This is a solo effort.
It's a truly solo effort in that I played everything on it. I sang it. I wrote it. I recorded it. I produced it. It's just self-indulgent fun.
You're
really.
like Billy Corgan. Right? Didn't he do everything on Siamese Dream?
I have more hair than Billy
True,
Corgan.
and he likes wrestling more than you do.
Well, does he?
You weren't that into Mean Gene Okerlund, so.
No, it's my solo
Okay,
effort.
you're like Dave Grohl. How's that?
Dave, well, he's pretty good. I don't know.
So, when's it available?
It's actually available now. You can please go listen to me on Spotify. If you're in Toronto area, you can pick up your copy at Sonic Boom. And I've got
Not Sonic Boom. That's
not Sonic Boom.
the
That's
home
Pat
studio
Boone's
here.
studio. No, Sonic Boom.
He's in a heavy metal mood. That Pat Boone.
But please go pick up a copy. And I'm excited about it. This is the first record that I've ever done that's being heard around the world right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm charting all over the place.
Like where? Like in Germany?
Like a lot of indie
Are you
radio.
like David Hasselhoff? You're big in Germany.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm big, but I'm just getting some charts.
Okay, give me some details there. Oh, like where are you charting? That's not Canada.
Los Angeles, France, UK, various US.
Well, they think you're like a lounge singer, Gene Champagne.
That'll do it.
You know, in Paris they love that stuff. Okay. Honestly, congrats, man.
Thank you.
I bet you that part of this is the bounce from near-death experience. Like, I feel like when somebody almost dies but doesn't die, and then they put out new music, everybody is like just more receptive to it.
maybe. You know what? There's that funeral sign behind you that goes in the car. You know,
Right.
I'm going to put that on my car on the way home. Can I have that? I just want people to open up their eyes.
They're at 14th and Lakeshore. Why not, instead of going back to Hamilton, let's just cut out the middleman.
Go get your own?
Take you straight. No, let's just take you straight to Ridley. You should call it a day. But,
Okay.
all
I
right.
got to thank him for the tape measure anyway.
So wait, you did everything?
I did everything.
You play all the instruments. You're writing the music. You're playing the music.
Yes, I wrote it, played it, recorded it,
Wow.
mixed it. I did it all.
You did it all.
Yes.
Did you do like the cover art?
No, I didn't. I had a graphic designer do that.
Okay, well, you know what? You blew it.
But
man.
it is me on the cover, though. More self-indulgence.
And there's no Photoshop touching up that photo. That's the real you. Now, I do feel like if you want to say you did everything, you should have done the graphic art too.
I should have.
You blew it, man. Next album, I want you to do everything, and including the cover art.
It will be. It'll be hand-drawn cover art. Sure. For you?
Would you mind, Mr. Champagne, taking me back to the early 90s? I'm going to just close my eyes and remember the early 90s. I was a very young man. In fact, I was still a teenager in 1992, and I absolutely loved my Canadian alt rock. Like, that was my music, especially in 91, 92. Can you please regale me with tales of how the Killjoys are formed in Hamilton, Ontario back in 1992?
92. Well, Mike and I were in a band called...
Mike Troublecock.
Mike Troublecock.
Who's an FOTM? Do you know what that stands for?
No.
Friend of Toronto Mike. Do you know what you are right now? An FOTM.
FTM. Friend of a friend of Toronto
I'm a
Mike.
little punchy. I'll tell you the truth. I'm a little punchy because this afternoon I was recording the Great Lakes Brewery has a podcast called Between Two Fermenters. And whenever Troy comes over to have these long form interviews in the basement here, he always brings over a bunch of cold beer. And I just sit here recording and I just crack open beer. So I'm a little punchy. But you are an FOTM.
Well, let's do
like
that
Mike.
now.
So tell me more. You and Mike are buddies?
Very much. I've known him since I was 11. He was in the band with me when I knew Tom Wilson. So did Mike.
Love these connections here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so tell me more. You and Mike just decided, hey, we should make music?
We were in another band before the Killjoys called the Monday Nuns, and we just played around Hamilton a bit. And then it was like a switch went off. Mike wrote a whole bunch of songs, and we decided to make a record back then when it was a little harder and you had to scrape up money and go find a studio and do it. And that's exactly what we did. And Shelley was on board at that point. We were a 3-piece, and it's like all of a sudden we were a real band. We were making music, and it felt like we had some wheels turning in it, and it was going to maybe do something. And it did. It just slowly did. I mean, thank you to CFNY, because they were the catalyst for that.
How did you get... Let me play a little... I did tease some off the top here, but let me play a little Killjoys, and we'll get back to the ongoing story of the Killjoys here.
some days that I want to stay another day. And there's some days that I just want to escape. And every day just gets a little further from where I want to be. I just want to sit alone and contemplate my fate. For today I hate everyone. Today I hate everyone. There's a shadow creeping slowly over everything, and one more shadow won't help anything to go away. And if I hurt you, well, I'm sorry, that was not my intention. But I'll be bad until my hopes come back another day. Or today I hate everyone.
So, Gene, when you hear this in the headphones, what are you thinking when you listen to this song?
It's old.
We're all getting older, Gene, okay? Quick shout out to Jeremy Hopkin, who's on the live stream. That's live.torontomike.com. He writes that you, Gene, are a champagne supernova. That's what he writes. And then he says, I love the humans that Toronto Mike introduces me to. Forever in debt. So remember that, Jeremy. You owe me forever. You're forever in debt because I'm introducing you to some Gene Champagne. And he also says this song is bringing back many high school memories listening to CFNY. That's what it's doing for me. But how did you get... Starry is the name of the album, right? The first album?
Right.
How do you get it played on CFNY?
I'm just trying to think back to that. Sorry,
Did somebody walk it into the studio in Brampton or something? Or you got a rep or something?
No, I think it was actually entered into a radio contest. This wasn't the song that really opened up the eyes to Toronto. It was actually Dana.
What's Trouble in Dana?
Yeah, that was the song that was on CFNY. It was part of a call-in contest, and I can't remember what you would win.
Was it like a new music search or something?
I think so.
Yeah, they used to do new music searches.
I believe that's what it was. And
because it's funny how memories are so faulty, because my memory is this one first and then Dana.
Yeah, but it's actually the other way
That's
around.
wild.
I know. Well, that's because Today I Hate was sort of our big... that was the real first single when it was out on Warner, and we had the video. So that's what people remember.
And I also will shout out this place here. Again, this is an audio presentation, but I remember you guys would get your videos played on Much Music.
All the time, yeah.
Like
that made a huge difference.
Well, that's what I'm curious. So 'cause I often have this chat with, like, I don't know, who will I pick on today? Mo Berg, okay, from The Pursuit of Happiness. And he'll talk about, like, what it meant to him when I'm an adult now, got played on Much. And suddenly, you're on a popular radio station across the entire country. What did it mean for the Killjoys when the videos for Today I Hate Everyone and Dana are being played on Much Music?
Well, you could see the huge lift. You could feel it before you'd go and you'd play your music, and someone might hear a song, and you wouldn't get attention until they saw that or heard that song. But with you being on the TV, that was everything. Television was everything, and
Right.
it would just lift you. You could really feel it.
Lest we forget, we need to tell the kids out there was no internet back in 1992, 93, 94.
You had to find the flicker, the TV flicker.
Flicker, I called it a clicker.
Clicker.
I think Hamilton calls it a flicker.
Yeah,
and
it's across the lake.
Toronto was calling it a clicker here. But how important was it for the Killjoys at this point to break in the United States of America? Was this the goal?
We always wanted to. Yeah, of course we wanted to. But with Warner, we had to be signed to an affiliate of Warner's. And we had a real struggle with that. I mean, we played the U.S., just the border towns, but we never captured over there.
Tell me a little more about that. So you're signed with Warner Music Canada. But that doesn't mean Warner...
Worldwide, no.
...gives a shit about the Killjoys. But here's my question. This is my ignorance here. Born in Toronto, still living here. I'm stuck. I can't seem to... although you're stuck in Hamilton, so we're all stuck, right?
I'm here now.
Have you always lived in Hamilton?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes I think so. I've always lived in the same city, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, there's people, I go live in Europe or whatever, or they go live in the States or whatever. Like, we're just fine where we are. We don't feel the need to, like, what do you call that? To wanderlust or whatever.
Well, I've had that opportunity. I've traveled everywhere, so coming home was always great.
True. Home is where you hang your hat there. Okay. So when the Warner in the States, they must be aware of what's signed by Warner Music Canada. Like when they listen to Starry, for example, don't they hear like a great fucking alt rock sound that would fit right in with what's hitting in the States back in 1994?
Oh, maybe, but maybe because there's 10,000 other bands like that over there that are American. Why wouldn't they do that?
I never really thought about it. Like maybe you're talking me out of this. I'm trying to figure out why
I
why
don't
the
mean
hell
to.
Today I Hate Everyone isn't a hit on MTV.
I don't know. You're just making me sad.
I don't want to make it sad. First of all, you beat the Ventilator COVID, like, and you got great new music, and you look like a happy guy living happily in Hamilton. You don't want to be some Los Angeles douchebag. You know what I mean? You want to be able to look in the mirror and say, "This is Gene Champagne. I like this guy."
Yeah.
See?
I feel great.
I know.
I like me.
So I'm not
I
trying to
like
make you feel bad. I don't think
No.
money is everything. Like, I don't know what you're driving, but would I think any less of you if you were driving a beat up old Corolla
Or the bicycle I'm going to ride in on next week.
I'm going to be biking to
there
visit
it is.
you. And,
Yeah.
that's,
There it is.
I do
right
ride
there.
a bicycle. Okay. It's not the car you drive. You're having a good life, but it is interesting to go back and see like what had to break how. Like, I'll just point out, like, for example, Bare Naked Ladies, similar CFNY thing, right? They're like a local band here in Toronto, and then CFNY starts playing them, and there's the yellow tape, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, a few years later, they have a #1 Billboard Hot 100 hit. So what is, you've got to think about, like, what is the difference between what happened there and what happened to you? And it sounds like no label in the States wanted to push your single.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Well, fuck that, man.
Fuck that.
That's their loss. That's their loss. I can tell you that we talked earlier about how you didn't design the cover art for Let's Jet. Is that the name of it? I want to make sure.
Yeah,
I got the right
it
name.
is.
Let's Jet, right. But somebody who designed the album for Starry got nominated for a Juno Award. Antoine Moonen.
Antoine Moonen, yes. Him and Mike Treblecock, your friend,
FOTM.
FOTM. I'm just the FOFOTM.
No, you're an FOTM now.
Okay,
You
I
don't
am.
need the FOFOTM. You're an FOTM.
Right on. Yeah, they both won a Juno. Oh, sorry, Juno nomination for it.
Got a nomination,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for Best Album Design for Starry, and you were nominated for a Rock Radio Award as an Independent Artist of the Year. So can you help me out? You're independent, and then you're signed with Warner Music, so Starry is an independent release?
It is too. Yes, we put it out prior to Warner picking it up. So I'm gonna say it was probably out 6 months, maybe even a year before Warner picked it up. And then when Warner picked it up, we just did a couple fixes just to make it a little better for radio, because we actually recorded in an 8-track studio above a shoe store, like a shoe shop.
Yeah.
And we'd have to take breaks between the him hammering downstairs
You got to keep that in the track.
or buses going by.
It's got to have more shoe hammering.
Yeah, a little more.
That's great. That's great. Can I play a little more again, I'm going to sink into an hour on the Killjoys here because I can't help myself, but can I play another
Sure.
jam from the Killjoys? Okay, here we go.
I come undone, wound too tight. I know that I'm wrong and you were right. I can't look you in the face and settle with my normal grace. You can't put me on the shelf, then take me down again when you feel like myself. I come undone, wound too tight. I know that I'm wrong and you were right. I can't look you in the face I'm not anything at all. I'm not a monster, I'm a friend who raves and rules.
Okay, it won't be champagne Gene's about to drink, but he's about to crack open a Great Lakes beer here. Right on the mic, Gene.
Here we go.
I love that
beautiful.
sound. Isn't that great? Okay, cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. Now, you're going to tell me it sounds old if I ask you what you're thinking when you hear this jam, but fucking
No, it
I
doesn't.
don't know. I
so
love
well.
it.
And I'm enjoying hearing these again because I don't listen to these often.
You don't go at home like in Hamilton and put on Rave and Drool.
No, this has been a long time since I've heard this, and actually, not us rehearsing, but the recording.
Right.
And I hear it in the headphones. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, you should enjoy it. It's fantastic. And
I'm
this is
proud
the
of this
lead
record.
single from the second album, Gimme 5.
Correct.
Okay, so just some highlights here, because now for this album, I think you're going to get an actual Juno Award. Okay, we're not talking a nomination, but you actually get an award for Best New Group, right?
Yep.
So here's my question, okay? Starry has hits on it, like Canadian radio hits. So Gimme 5 is the follow-up. How are you still eligible for Best New Group in 1997?
Are you trying to get my Juno
I
back?
think
Do you
we-
want it? I would have brought it.
Where is your Juno?
Well, funny you ask. We were just talking about
I always
that.
ask.
No, it's on my mantle, but I'm not going to lie. I've been trying to figure out how to put it in a fish tank.
It won't rust, right?
Well, no, it shouldn't rust. If the letters come off, I can put anything on it. You know what I mean? It might decay. I don't know, but I think it'd be great with some goldfish and some stuff swimming around it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you do that, will you take a photo and send it to me?
100%.
That's wild. Okay, so at least I'm glad it's on your mantle right now. I always ask where it is. Sometimes I hear it's in a box or my mom's got it or whatever, but it's on your mantle right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your Best New Group in 97, even though you released Starry in 1994. I would like that Juno back. You are ineligible. In my humble opinion, the wonderful Killjoys are ineligible for Best New Group in 1997. This is worse than Milli Vanilli winning that
Maybe
Grammy.
the American labels caught wind of that and said, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And just said, forget it. We're not dealing with this.
Right. This is like when they said Alanis Morissette was a new artist for Jagged Little Pill, and we're like, where were you when she was never too hot, never too cold? She took her best shot, too hot to hold. Right? You remember this? Come on. She was like our Debbie Gibson for a while there. Okay. So back to Gimme 5. That's the excellent Rave and Drool, which is on the very first Big Shiny Tunes. This particular podcast is mildly obsessed with Big Shiny Tunes. There's a number of episodes about Big Shiny Tunes. Do you have any insight into how the hell you got Rave and Drool on Big Shiny Tunes?
No.
You got no info on that?
No idea.
What would
It's
you say
there.
you do for this band, Gene? We never did cover that.
I load the gear. I do a lot
Are you
of
sure you're with the
driving.
Killjoys? No, but just because I don't even think we've said it yet, but you gave me the drumstick, so
Yes.
maybe people clued in. But you play drums for the Killjoys.
Yes, I do. Drummer for look at you go. That's him, not me.
You know what? I've never owned drumsticks. Like I could be like a drummer.
If you give them away to your next guest,
No.
that's it. We're done.
I'm not giving
No
these away because
FOTM.
I will just tell the listenership that they've got the Teenage Head logo on it. So no freaking way am I giving these away. And yes, we will be talking Teenage Head shortly. But so your label did that, I guess. So are you still with Warner?
No.
So
Well, no, that's not true. Even though we're not
Don't lie to me, Gene.
We're not actively with Warner. They do own those recordings. So that being said,
Mm-hmm.
no, they still own all the rights to those records.
because Big Shiny Tunes is a Much Music thing, right?
Yes. How many Big Shinies were there? Was there like
Lots.
40? It
Because I dropped out, but the first few I loved very much.
was
And
like
then
Survivor.
they're probably still pumping these CDs out at some warehouse in North York or something like that. But you're on the first Big Shiny Tunes, and I would say if we're speaking, again, this podcast appeals to people of all ages, but particularly Gen X. And I think if you're a Canadian Gen Xer, who likes rock and roll, you were buying Big Shiny Tunes.
Everybody had a Big Shiny Tunes. It was a movement.
Were you? You must have been proud to be represented on that first one.
Absolutely. 100%. Because it was the 90s. Oh, I don't know. Now you say the 90s like your parents said back in the 50s. It's kind of like that. I don't know. It's a whole era. It's a whole genre.
The 90s is a vibe, as my daughter would say.
It is. Is 90s a genre?
To me, 90s CanCon alt rock absolutely is a genre to me.
I think so.
And you guys are key members of that genre, the Killjoys.
Thank you.
Along with Junkhouse.
Junkhouse too. Yeah. The Odds.
Absolutely. We want to keep doing it.
Pursuit of Happiness. Mo. We're talking about Mo.
Yeah, we can put like Our Lady Peace in there. Sloan is like...
Bare Naked Ladies. Everyone
Sloan
from the
has to be
Trans-Canada Highwaymen.
You know what? Who I love? I love Rusty.
I love Rusty too.
Okay.
And Scott lives in Hamilton now.
Scotty Mac and Scotty Max and FOTM. The whole Canon, the whole band was in this basement.
And I'm an FOF TM with Scotty.
No, listen to me, Gene. You're an actual FOTM, okay? You're not 3 degrees.
You tried to buy me off with all these gifts? Is that what this? You were buying my love.
I gave you a measuring tape from Ridley. Do you think I give every guest a measuring
To measure
tape?
my own casket.
You can measure whatever you want. It's none of my business here. Gosh, I want to find out why you need to form Junior Achiever, okay? But while I'm talking this excellent follow-up, because I really love Gimme 5, I'm going to play another song from Gimme 5. This is another, and by the way, I bet you the listenership's like, oh, I fucking love that song. Killjoys have a sneaky number of great radio / much music singles. Like the kind of like you don't even, oh yeah, they did that one too. They did that one too. And they did this one.
She's got bedroom eyes in the shifty. Yeah, I know. But she's got a little pout and she's pretty. So I won't let go. No, I won't get soaked. No, I won't get soaked. She's got American thighs, but they're creepy. Yeah, I know, but she's got a little pout and she's pretty, so I won't let go. No, I won't get soaked. No, I won't get soaked.
Soaked. By the way, as we're running off all these fantastic 90s Canadian alt-rock bands, we didn't mention I Mother Earth. And you guys toured with I Mother Earth, right?
It seems like we did a lot of touring with I Mother Earth. Our Lady Peace, we toured with them a lot.
Right.
You name it, we played with them.
Finger 11.
Right, Finger 11, yeah.
Absolutely here.
5440.
Love 5440. Absolutely. Oh, man, I'm telling you, man, that's my genre. So as far as I'm concerned, 90s Canadian alt-rock is a genre. I need the true story here. I tried to get this out of Mike. He gave me his take on it. Now I'm here to get Gene's take on it. What the hell happened in Mexico? Okay, so now so this song we're listening to, we're still on Gimme 5, but then you have a third album. I never know how to say it. Milos Motos?
Milos Motos.
Milos. See, I screwed it up. Okay. Another win for Milos. Remember this one? Okay. The story that floats around, because it's on Wikipedia, is that you're filming the video for I've Been Good, which is the lead single from Milos Motos, and the film is stolen by a crew member, and they hold it hostage, and they want ransom if you want the footage. Gene, give me the full story. What the hell happened in Mexico?
That's 100% a true story. We were filming in Mexico, and there was a lot of crooked stuff going on, but there was a crew member. It was all sort of Mexican crew and, not wealthy. There's a lot of poverty there. He was having some trouble. I think his wife got into a car accident. There was some issues, some money issues. He saw opportunity. He knew we were finishing up and going back to Canada. It was going to be gone. So he took his opportunity, stole the canister of film, and basically held it ransom.
How much money did he want for that film?
I don't remember that, to be honest with you.
Okay, my sources say $13,000.
It could be. It was a pretty big number.
Who has to pay that? Because it was paid, right?
Well, it was. So we had to deliver it to Warner. And I'm just trying to think how this worked.
Yeah.
So we had to actually have it delivered. And we had a due date to make everything work. So if we basically said, you've got to get it back. It's not gone. So it was up to us to possibly sue the production company
Right.
to get that money back because we're out completely. And so they ended up actually paying it to get the film back.
See, that number 13,000 is,
I don't know if that's the number though. I don't recall.
right. But if that's the number, that's kind of a good number, I think, because it's not so high that you're going to say, fuck it, we'll just film something back in Hamilton. We'll borrow someone's camcorder and film whatever. Like, but that's a number
Compared
where
to what it probably
you might pay
cost.
$13,000 for that footage. Right?
Well,
Like,
the video
they got
itself
it.
cost a lot more than that.
Right. So it's like you cough up another 13 grand. This poor, why am I having pity for the crew member who stole your footage? Like, this is an asshole.
He was having a bad day. I
You
know.
what? I try to put myself in other people's shoes. Like, would you be mad at somebody who stole bread to feed their starving family? That's a real question, Gene. Would you?
Oh, was it good bread?
As long as it's from Loblaws, right? Well, don't steal Palma Pasta because that's a family-run business, Palma Pasta.
I'm
But
excited about the pasta.
you're going to love it.
Can't wait.
Ask Tom. All right, so that's a great story from Mexico. Now, you mentioned about a half an hour ago, we talked about Junior Achiever, man. That was some great power pop we played there. Now, you formed Junior Achiever because the Killjoys, what did they do? They
just kind of stopped. We didn't break up. We didn't quit. We just finished a final tour, and we kind of thought we just had enough of it. We finished the tour. Mike got out of the van. We said, "See ya," and we just kind of went on our merry way. We didn't know what we were going to do. We at that time we kind of wanted out of our management. We kind of wanted out of our record deal, and it just kind of happened that way.
You just went to do work on other things.
Other things, exactly. We didn't. There was no animosity. We didn't.
I was going to ask, like, there wasn't a big fight or whatever?
No, not at all. We're
Mike didn't storm off and say,
No.
I'm done with this.
Would have been great, but no, that didn't happen. We're still very friendly, and we're still actually playing. In fact, I did want to mention that it's the 30th anniversary of Starry, and there's a reissue of vinyl coming out this year. And I'm going to tell you how you can pre-order yours.
Do it.
And it's kind of special because
And thanks for bringing me a copy.
it's not out yet. Okay. It's not out yet.
I'm just busting your chops. Okay.
But I will when we'll trade for more lasagna. I'm going to just try to find the link here.
It's a quid pro quo, but you did bring me drumsticks, which I love very much, by the way.
So it's vinyl, and the cool thing about that is in our time, vinyl wasn't really a thing. We were in the CD age,
Right.
and we kind of came out of the cassette age as well too. All our first records were cassette and vinyl, cassette and CD.
Right.
So this is the first time for vinyl. Pursuit of Happiness is out there too, and you can pre-order it now at recordlabel.com. Recordlabel.com.
Okay, so recordlabel.com.
Yep.
You can pre-order your Hamilton Mike. I want everybody here. Jeremy Hopkin, everybody, go get the 30th anniversary. Is that right?
30th
Okay, I'm doing
anniversary,
the math. It's weird how time works, right? Like, it can't be 30, but of course it's 30. 1994 was 30 years ago.
And we recorded 2 brand new songs that are bonus
Killjoys.
tracks. Yep. 2 brand new songs.
Are these out yet?
Yeah.
Like, I can play a new Killjoys
You
right now?
should be able to find it. I'm just trying to think. You could probably find it on a Killjoys Bandcamp.
All right, look, we're doing this in real time here.
I haven't looked. I think they're there.
Hold on here, everybody. Bear with me here. Bandcamp. Killjoys Bandcamp. There we go. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to tell you what you got here. What do I got here? This is exciting. So It's Goodbye is what I see at the top
that's
left
not it.
here. That's not it here. Okay. Well, you know what? This is something I'm going to seek out and listen to. It might be, by any chance, is it on YouTube or is it going to Bandcamp, of course?
No, it's Bandcamp right now.
But I did hear rumors about this, so I'm on social media following Mike Treblecock and things, and I did hear rumors about new Killjoys, which got me... you know why? That's a different Killjoys. You ever have issue with that?
We did. The Australian Killjoys.
This is where I'm at the Australian Killjoys Bandcamp.
Yeah, there was some going back and forth back in the day. So we thought if we came out over there, we'd be Killjoys 90210.
Is it called Turmoil? No, I Scream?
Nope.
Still the wrong one. It's terrible. These guys are stealing. Killjoys, by the way, also a TV show. Like the name Killjoys lost a lot of its SEO with a bunch of Killjoy stuff that kind of arrived. I'm going to take one last shot at this, and then I think we're all going to be sick of Mike doing real time. But I'm going to go to one last place. I got the right one now because I can see Starry's on this. Starry. Okay, so I don't want Starry. I'm just going to go to the Killjoys music. I believe this is you guys. The Killjoys music.bandcamp.com, but it does then auto redirect to the Starry page. So I have the right Killjoys, but I don't have the new stuff here.
There's no new stuff yet.
So no, you can pre-order it though, and I'm sorry I can't play it right now, but I will definitely be checking it out. I love me some Killjoys, so I'll be checking that out. Okay, so it's not a breakup. It's like you guys just agree to like go on like leave.
Pretty much, yeah. It was kind of like a huge hiatus, but we returned a few times. I think we kind of came back together maybe 3 or 4 times. Sure. Last year we did a bunch of shows. We did like a little Ontario run. We did Ottawa.
You did Horseshoe Tavern.
Yeah, Horseshoe Tavern, Bridgeworks.
Right, because Bridgeworks, of
Kitchener,
course, in Hamilton. Sure.
Oshawa. So there was a small run, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So that's kind of, we'll conclude the Killjoys portion because, of course, we played some Junior Achiever, but only one album for Junior Achiever, right?
Correct, yeah.
Interesting, okay. Because it sounded fucking great.
Thanks.
But the Unteen sounded great too. And that's kind of like your current band, but you're doing the solo work. We heard Let's Jet.
So really what it is now, so I sort of changed it to Gene Champagne and the Unteens because it's just people find me more now because of all the bands that I've been in. It's not so cloaked.
Right.
So Gene Champagne is truly...
You should have your name in the band's name.
When you have a phony name like mine, of course.
Like Diana Ross and the Supremes. Am I right?
Right.
A phony name.
So
I've seen your birth certificate. That's not a phony name.
No, it's not. So basically, the Unteens are still my band. We just kind of go under my banner.
Love it so much. Now,
thank you.
When we think of Hamilton bands, okay, we think about Teenage Head. So Dave Rave was on Toronto Mike. I'm going to say 6 weeks to 2 months ago, and we really did. And again, Dave Rave, not like he was around the band, and now he's the singer for the band, not an original member. There's been some loss in this band. But how do you become the drummer for Teenage Head? And Gene, before you answer, I'm just going to play a little Teenage Head, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right, so let's pay some respects because very recently we lost Gord Lewis tragically, and that was a great loss for the Hamilton music community.
Huge.
You mind, because you probably are less familiar with Frankie Venom, is that right? Because you weren't with Teenage Head at that point.
No, I wasn't. I didn't really know Frank that well.
Right, but talk to me about Gord Lewis if you don't mind. Just the worst news when I heard that one. Holy smokes.
Well, Gordy was a good friend, and first I just want to say, listening to this, because I don't listen to this music so much anymore because I play it, but this kind of gave me goosebumps because I'm listening to it the way I did when I was younger, when I was a huge fan, and it's bringing me really, it's bringing it back. I was a huge fan of the band, and they were my band growing up. And to live in the same city, I lived at one end of the city, so I'd go downtown, and that was like, oh my God, my favorite band in the world lives here. It was just unreal when you were a little kid. And fast forward to the 90s, Gord was actually a fan of the Killjoys, and he would come out to the shows, and I was a fan of his band, he was a fan of ours, and that was very cool. So I got to know him fairly early on. At one point he had asked me to join the Shaken Heads, which was the Shakers and Teenage Head, and I remember that was like just an awe moment for me, but I had to say no because the Killjoys were going on tour, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Fast forward to, I don't know, a decade ago, I suppose.
Yeah, around 2016.
Gord was, not in a good place.
Oh.
And we were friends and we were talking, and he knew I recorded at home, and he said, so you have a studio, eh? And I'm like, yeah, come on down, Gord. I knew that he needed an outlet he had songs, and he wasn't used to, it was just a different way for him to be able to write and get these songs out of his head in the not traditional way of taking it into a room with the band and jamming it out. And he did that. And it was a magical kind of thing. So we worked on songs together, and truth be told, Let's Jet, that whole EP came out at that time. I was writing in tandem with him. So on my own time, I was taking all the energy, the muse of Gordy, and trying to do my own thing because we were set up anyway. So we were kind of recording in tandem at that time. Wow. In fact,
So you were really close with Gord.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
So my condolences, man.
thank
Please
you.
continue, but I wanted to say I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I don't know where we were.
No, it's okay, because the terrible news about Gord Lewis is that's 2022, but you join the band in like 2016.
Yeah, Jack was they had a festival date, and I knew this stuff from playing with Gord, and Jack fell ill, but he fell ill in a way that he wasn't going to be able to play for a long time. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. I jumped up and just kind of fit like a glove, and here I am still.
You're still here.
I'm still here.
So is this around the time when Dave Rave becomes the returns as lead singer, around the time you joined the band?
Yeah, well, just prior to me joining the band, and when we were working on the songs together, we did put these songs together, Gord, and I asked Rave to come down and sing on them because we had guitar, we had drums, Gord played bass. Eventually we had some really cool guys play on the recording. We had Dennis Dunaway from Alice Cooper, we had Andy Chernoff play on it from the Dictators, Jack from the Trues, Shelley from the Killjoys. We had different bass players on it, but we needed a voice, and I said, I'm going to call Dave. Let's get Dave down. Gord said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. So we did that.
Yeah.
Then we kind of went and played out as the Gord Lewis Band for a bit. And that was, who did we have on bass? Paco Cameron. That's escaping me now, but I could call him Paco all the time. But he played bass, and we did some shows in Ontario. We played with the Diodes, Montreal, some Ontario stuff.
Sure. And
then when it was kind of time to, after I did the festival show, it was kind of time to rethink things. And I think, Ray, we did a show with, they were doing a benefit for Jack, and Dave came up and sang with the guys while they were playing. And I think that was just when they had the eye-opening thing that it was like, it's time.
It's time.
It is. And rightly so. Dave has always sort of been the voice behind the voice. He's been on every record. Excuse me. And
he was there in the beginning.
He was there in the beginning.
Yeah, the mid-'70s or whatever.
Absolutely. But he also sang for them from 1985 to early 90s. People forget about that period. He did a record with them, electric guitar. It's a great record.
Right.
So it was a natural thing. I don't know if anyone could come in and do the job that he's doing with, just a stranger. I just don't think, because it's such a family.
It feels right to me. Like, I think it's a good fit. And I think it's wild that you're the drummer now for Teenage Head, considering you were such a fan of the band when you were a younger man.
How many people can say that, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like if Pearl Jam called me up tomorrow and said, we're getting, this Cameron guy's not working out. You want to be the drummer? I'll be like, yeah, I just got my new drumsticks. Yeah, absolutely. From Gene Champagne, man. My Teenage Head drumsticks here. I want to shout out a couple more 90s alt-rock bands that I loved. There is no Rusty. Well, you can argue there's no Rusty without the Doughboys.
Right. Doughboys.
Because they're part of the origin story. I love the Doughboys. And John Kastner, he's in town for something. I'm trying to get John Kastner on Toronto Mic'd. Just putting that into the universe. But here's a guy I love. I just want to shout him out. Ian Blurton.
Yes.
He's an FOTM like you. I think Change of Heart is grossly underappreciated and underrated.
Big time.
See, we agree on this. Good.
And because I'm not in the city much, I never see Ian. Never see him.
I literally sometimes, at least once in the last 18 months, I was biking on the waterfront trail near Harborfront here, and I biked by Ian Blurton. And I remember yelling out to him. It's just wild to see him in the wild. So Ian Blurton in the wild. Yeah, you gotta be on the waterfront trail there. I bike bump, but I think he's fantastic. Love Change of Heart. I still spin them all the time, just like I spin the Killjoys. You're with Teenage Head. So I know I have a note here about a album release party on June 29th, right?
Yes.
So this is for Let's Jet.
Yeah, for my record, Let's Jet. June 29th, it's at Hamilton at the Corktown. Yeah, please come out. Tickets are on Eventbrite.
Is Tom Wilson going to be there?
He might pop by.
He better pop by. He's everywhere, right?
Yeah. But I do want to say I'm in Toronto at the Bovine Friday, June 14th. I'm opening for the Black Halos, pals of mine.
Okay.
And I'm in London June 15th at Palisade Social Bowl, again with the Black Halos.
Amazing. I'm just trying to track everything just before we say goodbye with another great Canadian alt-rock 90s band, Lowest of the Low.
Yes.
Love Lowest of the Low. They play us out every episode. Did you know, I don't know why I didn't learn this till the documentary, but Kids in the Hall, Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet, Having an Average Weekend is the song. Speaking of, the theme song for Kids in the Hall. Did you know they played it live every single episode?
No.
They played it live. I
didn't.
I know. I just figured it's the same theme. They canned it and they played it every episode. But no, Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet played Having an Average Weekend live every single episode of Kids in the Hall.
That's very cool. I was lucky enough to catch an episode live.
Oh, was it at the Rivoli? Where were you?
I don't recall. I just remember going to it once so long ago.
Love those. That really shaped my sense of humor. I was a massive fan, still am, of Kids in the Hall. Only one member is an FOTM, though, Kevin McDonald. I have so much work to do to collect the other four.
Did you offer him lasagna? Well, I'll put a call out to Kastner now. I'll
put the call out to Kastner,
yes.
and then get me Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall, okay? I'm giving you some assignments here.
Okay.
But here, I'm trying to track everything on our way out. How did I get to that? Oh, yeah. I was going to make a joke that Lowest of the Low are in the next room, and they play Rosie and Gray live every time I finish. See, that's where I was going. Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet are playing live for Kids in the Hall. Lowest of the Low are playing live for Toronto Mike. Okay, Gene, you're not in Hamilton anymore, okay? Listen, let's keep track here. Your solo work, Let's Jet, is now available, and that's what this album release party is for on June 29th at Corktown, Hamilton. The Jesse James Medicine Show and Dave
they're going to open
Pomfret.
up. Dave Pomfret are opening, yes.
Okay, cool. Meanwhile, you've changed the name of this one, right? It's the Gene Champagne and the Unteens.
Correct.
And what are the plans for them?
It's basically
really
Gene Champagne.
Yeah,
the Unteens are the guys behind me. They're my band.
Remember this band, not Canadian, but Five for Fighting?
No.
Okay, so just having a chat about Five for Fighting earlier today, and I referred to Five for Fighting as they, but Five for Fighting is one guy. Like when these guys have just to confuse things, it's just one guy going by the handle.
Remember the Monks?
Yes.
He was a guy.
Just a guy.
He was just a guy. I didn't know that. Love that record.
Yeah, well, Nine Inch Nails is just a guy, right? Like technically,
it's not 9 of them.
There's not 9 of them. Get out of town here. And also, we have the metric system here. They're not even 9 Inch Nails. They're like, do the math on that one, Gene. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, so the Unteens, Gene Champagne and the Unteens, that's a going concern. We got your solo stuff. And when can we see Teenage Head next? How about TMLX 15 at June 27th at Great Lakes Brewery? Will you guys come down and play?
Sure. Well, you could play it now. You have the sticks. You do that.
I don't want to take a job away from you, Gene. Not that I can pay you with lasagna and beer. By the way, how is your beer?
Delicious. It's
Okay,
great.
good,
I'm going to
good.
thank them too. Great Lakes. Thank you.
And you're bringing some home too. But this was awesome. How did it go for you?
It was great. It was fun.
Was it worth the drive from Hamilton?
It was.
Because
it was only shitty for a minute.
Oh, good. Because I was worried, I'll see Gene at 9:30 p.m.
No,
or
I
something.
made it in good time.
Early. We started early.
And that never happens. And look at the rewards. Books and tape measures and pasta and beer.
Well, I'm glad you actually gave me a gift. I want all future guests to listen closely to me, and that includes Scott Thompson and Dave Kastner. You got to bring me something too. Gene brought me these drumsticks. I will cherish them. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're
and
welcome.
before you drive off back to Hamilton, make sure we get a photo by the Toronto tree, as is tradition around these parts. But I want to thank you so much for the convo. I loved chatting with you, and I'm so glad you didn't die. Because you were on a ventilator, Gene. I'm glad you didn't die.
I'm here. I don't know if it sounds like that, but
Take off my mask so I can see you with my own eyes, or something like that. But thank you, Gene Champagne.
thank you.
And now we can dispel the myth that that's a fake stage name. You are really a Gene Champagne.
I'm really a Gene Champagne. Not Eugene, just Gene.
Just Gene. And that brings us to the end of our 1,490th show. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky all over the place. I'm at Toronto Mike. What's the best way to follow the ongoing adventures of Gene Champagne?
You can find me at Gene Champagne _ on Instagram. You can find me at Gene Champagne on Facebook and Gene Champagne Music on Facebook.
Okay, all those places. Find out what's going on in the world of Gene Champagne. Much love to all who made this possible. That is Great Lakes Brewery. Palma Pasta. Don't leave without your lasagna. It's in my freezer.
Beautiful.
RecycleMyElectronics.ca. If you, Gene, have any old electronics,
Just
old
Gene.
cables. What did I call you? Did I call you Eugene?
You started.
If you, comma Gene?
You need,
no,
you need the
space.
break. You
If
need the break.
Gene.
Yes.
You got to pause. Right. Good. I wouldn't screw that up. But if you have cables, old devices, old phones, old electronics at your home in Hamilton, do not throw that in the garbage because those chemicals end up in our landfill. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca, put in your address, and it'll be like, hey, drop them off here, Gene.
Beautiful.
We'll properly recycle these bad boys. Okay, shout out to Raymond James Canada and the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. Get your ass to Christy Pitts. You'll love it. You can thank me later. Moneris, of course. Season 6 of Yes We Are Open is dropping now. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. I will see you all next week. I got to go to my calendar here, Gene. Who's my next guest? Who should it be?
I think we should get Dave Rave again. Just because you think he doesn't know you. He just texted me and said, say hi to Toronto Mark for me. Hi, kid. No.
All right, Jeremy Hopkins. Funny because the guy I was just referencing on the live stream is actually, he's the official Toronto historian of Toronto Mike. He's back to talk about 10 buildings that we did not demolish in this city, because last time he talked about 10 buildings we did demolish but should not have demolished. Looking forward to that. See you all then.